Right.
How do everyone? Welcome to the Potty Mouth Garden Club. Yes, we have fantastic guests today for all that. And I didn't even play the intro last week. So don't forget, please pop over to the Discord and say hello. That would be fantastic. It's a lovely place that is just brimming with kind of tips and tricks and loads of kind of people talking about good things in gardening. This is the one I keep forgetting to ask. Please, if you want your question answered, put a nice capital Q on your question before your question. Just like that, then type your question. Then I'll be able to find it, and that would be fantastic. And I would need some questions today because I haven't got that many topics. Well, I've got a few, but you know what I mean. It's kind of, we could always do with some more. Don't forget Fridays, and actually there was a special on. If anyone hasn't seen it, there's a special on greenhouses. Yes, someone's been spending money. Yeah, so on Fridays there's this little beforehand. We kind of have a little chat and just see if everyone's all right. That is there. So on Fridays, look out for that. Have we got anything else? If you want, I think I've got a few more than 25. So folks are starting to kind of come over and support the Potty Mouth. Yes, that is fantastic. And our podcast. There we go. That is it. Please subscribe to the podcast. That's lovely. Just listen to us in the bath. Right now, I will play this intro. Yes, so welcome to the Potty Mouth Garden Club. Look at our esteemed guests there. Yes, thank you very much. Stephen, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing, sir? Are you good?
I'm trying to keep my chair still because I know you get angry with me.
We've had this little conversation where Stephen, from being young, is a little bit of a fidget and a little bit of a kind of touch this, move this, and
I don't know what you mean.
That's not the kind of person I need. Just slides out and shot. Any gardening happening today, Stephen? This week? Anything since last time I've seen you?
I've been down today for a couple of hours, just looking around. This time of year, it's mostly tidying up and setting things up for the new season. So I've been laying out some beds. I'm hoping I can go half no digging my main tunnel this year. But as you know, it's super, super expensive. So it's just trying to produce compost, really.
How is as well, because we're all interested to know, is the shoulder back to normal? Are you back to 100% fit?
No, not 100%. Some days it hurts and others it's okay. Just on a day to day. It's better than it was a week ago anyway.
So there's still no plans for that new Polytunnel going up then, eh? There's no digging trenches or hammering in?
You obviously haven't watched my latest video, have you?
Well, you haven't.
It's up, it's done.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, I've been doing some landscaping work. I've been putting some. I dug some soil from one area, trying to level up the ground. Before it was just a blowaway tunnel, so it didn't really matter that it wasn't that level. I just flung it up and used it for 6-7 years. But now I'm trying to level the ground off as much as I can, and then of course once I start putting it up, the foundation tubes will take up any extra slack, so I can get it nice level and true and straight.
You know, Steve, you've kind of done a couple, and you've done probably a few throughout your life. Are you not? I'm not saying you're getting on and it's getting a little bit, but is it not like where you think, oh God, not another one? Or are you still excited about putting up polytunnels? Or
come on, mate.
I'm not talking about age here. Do you still like that? Because if I had to put another one up now, yes, I would honestly be thinking. You know what I mean? Oh God, no, not all that again. Maybe when I got into it and started it, I'd be excited. But the run up certainly wouldn't excite us. Are you anxious to get it up and like enjoying it, or?
Yeah, definitely. I want it up as soon as possible. I mean, the only part of it I don't really like, but it's necessary, is getting everything level at the start, doing all the groundwork, because you're up on you've got to put a foundation tube in the ground, and you've got to get them all roughly level, and they've all got to be straight and true. So you get the first one up, you get the second one up, the third and the fourth one, and then you put the fifth one up, and you find everything's out of square. So you're running backwards and forwards, making adjustments, and that's getting up and down to soil level, standing up, walking to the next one, and that's more of a pain in the backside than anything. But once they're up, the rest, it just goes up like Meccano. It's just nice and simple.
Well, it's all about preparation, Stephen. All about
It
I
is.
can say that. Yes, I'm good at that kind of thing. Look who we've got here, Jessie. How you doing, Jess? First lot of questions, Jessie, straight away. And I've put on a couple of pictures. Oh, we've got Jessie on this week. It's like Jessie's fan club. Oh, Jessie's coming on. Oh. It's almost like me mum, she kind of, oh, is Melanie coming? Like my wife. Is Melanie coming over to see? What about me, brother? Do you know what I mean? So, Jess, how are you doing anyways? Well, everyone's so pleased to see. It's almost like our Jessie on the show. Are you good, Jess? Yes, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So, how's things gardening life? Is it because we haven't seen each other for possibly 2 months there now. So I guess you've been right through, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So, but you've been right through the freeze as well and come out the other end.
Yeah,
so
I seem to remember our last conversation consisted of me being smug about not getting a lot of frost.
So what was your lowest temperature?
So inside the Polytunnel, it got to minus 8.1.
Wow, man, that's blowing me away.
It gets pretty exciting if you see the little minus in front of a number normally, and this was a bit of a shocker.
Mind you, that, like you say, that's down south. I mean, I know Steve had it kind of, I think he was minus 13, 14, 15, but he's north inland, where you're kind of south, you just wouldn't. And I'm on the coast, and we had, I think, minus 5. It was just, from, what's the hottest summer we've ever had, where we could cook eggs on the, do you know what I mean? It's just like, and that's just going to be one of me kind of things, but we'll just say hello to Audrey. Audrey, girl, how are you? Haven't been here for a while as well. Them lovely.
I know. I hardly remember how to do this.
Yeah, well, you are the live streaming guru now. Once every Thursday. Are you still? Yes, because I seen your onion, and that's what I was going to talk to you about, Audrey. I seen your onion video, and Jessie was talking about as well. Them little trays, them coloured trays. We kind of get.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did anyone see that? A coloured.
I saw them. They were lovely.
As soon as I seen them, I thought, and I thought, Audrey, when I first looked at them, I thought, a couple of trays. But then I seen it from the other angle, and there's hundreds of the bloody things. I was thinking, wouldn't you just love, and then on a nice, clean plastic little tray as well. I was thinking,
yes. I mean, I'm into making it fun. So
where are they? Are they like a common thing over there in America, or are them a specialized one, or?
No, I only know of one supplier for those, and that's Bootstrap Farmer.
Right.
And they do really nice cells and trays that are heavy duty, so they last for years.
That's what.
So I thought
that's exactly what you want.
They might as well be pretty colors and not just black.
Color code your plants as well.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I'm doing different varieties in each one of the 6-packs, so I don't even, you don't have to lose all your labels. I like it. So, yeah, that was my Christmas gift to myself this year.
Oh, I do lots of gifts to myself. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Mine will start this month for next year.
So did you sow yours? I mean, you don't do Boxing Day, Audrey, over there, but did you sow them on that day?
I did it on the 28th. We still had family in.
Oh, right.
So it was just a couple days late, but I've never sowed my onions this early.
Right.
So we shall see.
Because you did see as well that with all the kind of your frosts were totally different to ours. You had almost ice age over there. Did your family get to you? And did you get to see many of them, or were they stuck in?
2 of my children got here. The ones with the grandbabies, so that was nice. and my other daughter could not get out of Denver. That they got hit so hard
Right,
that it really wasn't about our weather, it was more about Denver's.
right.
So, we saw most.
What was your lowest temperature then, Audrey?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember. It was really super
Cool.
cold.
Really super
It's
cool.
cold.
It was I think we got down to 0 Fahrenheit, which I think is like -30 or something for you guys. So yeah, it
Whoa.
was bitter.
Even
Bitter.
even if I'd sown microgreens in the house, they would have froze. Do you know what I mean? Man, -30.
Yeah. Well, we haven't been that low in a long time. So I think everybody just got hit unusually this year.
Well, let's get this show cheered up a little bit. The nights are getting lighter.
They're getting
Jess,
longer.
I know. Jesse, have you noticed it by any chance? Because I certainly have.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Is it getting you kind of motivated? Are you or is it still a long way off spring?
Yeah, it's exciting. It is a bit exciting. Yeah,
So
it's nice.
are you going to be?
I mean, 30 because I get the bus about that time, so it's like hits right on. It's pitch black like 1 week, and then 3 weeks later, actually, it's still light. So it just kind of gives me a marker that time.
Oh, no.
It's really exciting.
Oh, I know. Yes, definitely. Well, I'm getting to the point now. It's like every day is a minute. Do you know what I mean? I kind of look at it like that, and
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
it does, mind you, doesn't it? It just kind of flies. You know, all of a sudden you're into that spring, and then it's away again. And do you feel, Steve, that maybe it's dragged this year, or has it been a tough one, or we're still not even out of it?
I don't know. It's a difficult question. I mean, the weather changes so much, and it's like you said yourself. We had 40 degrees in the country. Well, I didn't here, but everybody else did. Not that I'm whinging. I'm not whinging.
But the best
40
onions.
degrees. 40 degrees, and then we sink to those low temperatures. It's a vast difference for a gardener to cope with. So what's around the corner weather-wise? I have no idea. Get a lucky bag and see what's in it.
Well,
no idea at all.
I mean, Audrey, you're kind of used to this, but how do we approach like adapting to this kind of, because it's killing everything. Do you know what I mean? The heat's killing it all. I lost basically a lot of veg in the heat, and then come the frost, you lose all them ones you try to like make up again. You've lost again with the you know what I mean? How do you kind of adapt to this kind of life?
Well, I would just suggest, like for the heat, put shade cloth over things. I mean, that will at least keep the direct sun heat. That will help, lighten that up a little bit, but keep the ends of it open so that it still gets some breeze. And for cold weather stuff, I would just say you might find that you really have to have everything like double protected. Like put up little hoop houses inside your polytunnels so that there's a second layer of protection. And this, if this is a trend that will be continuing, that's different than if this was just a really fluke cold spell that went over most of the world, got hit with this one. So there's two things at play there. So it might happen next year, it might not.
Well, we're all kind of keeping fingers crossed though. But when you just said there though, like put like shade things on, Audrey, I would have never contemplated that in like a million years. But now it's like maybe I might have to. You know what I mean? Oh, have you done that?
Am I supposed to like put my hand up when I was going to say something? Is the
yes, please.
please. My biggest discovery of this, because I'm not used to this kind of cold at all, my biggest discovery is the joys of Enviromesh. Like I've only ever used it for bug protection before, and I happen to have, like, once you've covered some boxes with it that aren't collapsible, you've got to store them somewhere. So I've just been jamming them on stuff across the allotment. Everything that was under Enviromesh looks like it just breezed past the cold. All the really tender stuff hasn't even been touched by it. It's amazing. I'm going to be enviromeshing the whole plot next year.
Because I think I've got that. I've got Audrey on there. 1 second. See, because I wiped off JB and I've got my buttons all mixed up. Is the Enviromesh like the plasticky?
Yeah, so it's the white,
cottony one. It's not that kind of cottony.
It's not the fleece. It's not the fleece.
Yeah.
It's like really, really robust, really fine woven white. Well, I suppose it's plastic, but it looks white, and it's normally used for like carrot whitefly and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I use for me, and I had nice carrots this year as well. So you've put that over and it protected. Was that a fluke? Was it, or is that like a lucky? Or did you hear about?
So I've got a real problem with like allium leaf miner, and I dismantled a divan bed last year. So I just ripped all the outside of it off and covered the 2 box parts with Enviromesh. And so, because they fit my beds perfectly at the allotment. Great. So I did that. And then, so I had them over the summer to try and protect from bugs. And then over the winter, it's like, well, I'm not going to store them. I'm not going to pile them up somewhere. So I just thought I'd dump them over something. And one of the ones went over the Lucullus chard, which is normally really soft. Like the moment it gets like a tiny bit of cold, the whole lot just collapses. And all of my other chard, like all the rhubarb chard and the bietta and everything, has all gone kaput. It's just like sludge. The ones that were under this Enviromesh box, absolutely pristine. So I've really discovered it's great stuff.
Jess, I've got a little picture of your chard. That's cruelty to chard. That because that was just like, and I'm quite surprised because obviously you had a little bit colder than me, and I wonder my chard, which was just like the white chard, I forget what that's kind of called, but it didn't get knocked as bad as that. So I wonder if it maybe the ruby chard are just a few more lower degrees there, but that's. Have you pulled all them out now, Jess, or not? Or they still?
I'm really pleased you showed me that picture. I really need that right now.
Oh, I'm good at that.
the bietta, which is like it's kind of the perpetual spinach type chard, but it's got slightly thicker stems than that. But it's bomb proof normally in this area. You can get all winter, and then it back again, and it grows consistently through winter. It doesn't stop growing; it just keeps going normally for us. It's been completely knocked out like that. Not just the rhubarb chard, but the Lucullus, which is the really soft. It's a bit kind of floppy chap, and it's got really, really pale leaves, and they're large. And the moment they get cold, they just kind of melt into the soil.
Just kind of.
Absolutely pristine.
What about that? Sorry, Jess, I'm just going to ask Steve about Enviromesh, because I'm sure I've never seen you kind of dabbling in this modern technology, Stephen. Are you just?
No, I've used it. I haven't used it for a couple of years. I've got actually a massive roll in the cupboard just next to me here. That's when I eventually make the proper plant protection I want to make at the allotments, that will be all covered with it. But that's another day. The Enviromesh will raise the temperature 2 or 3 degrees underneath it. It's brilliant stuff.
It is expensive though. That's compared to you know what I mean. It's not like say expensive, but it's certainly you kind buy too much at one go because it's sharp. Adds up.
Well, you can get it slightly cheaper. You can get the Enviromesh, which is the original one, but there's also one now they call Veggie Mesh, and I think that's from Gardening Naturally. That is a bit cheaper than Enviromesh, and it still raises the temperature.
Right. I've got it in mind.
Is that one? It's the Veggie Mesh I'm using, but I just
the
still
Veggie Mesh, yeah. But
it lasts.
It looks exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Audrey, do you know what we're talking about?
I do, but I am not sure that I can get a hold of that.
Well, even mind you, your normal winter temperatures wouldn't still would get.
I wouldn't. I would, but it'd be lovely for bugs out there.
Well, it's quite bizarre that because, like you say, carrot not a 1 this year with mine, and I just kind of. How Charlie Dowden does it with his bricks around each, you know what I mean? I just did that piled on bricks around me raised bed and never thought, but I did it dead early. That was, I don't know if that was the key or not, but it stopped all, and normally I'll get them because I'm a lazy sod and I don't bother. I kind of go on that, if it's above 2 foot high, kind of fingers behind the back crossed, they'll not get me because my bed's a little bit higher than normal. but they still do. You know what I mean? But this time with that
Yeah.
Enviromesh, it was cracking, to be honest.
I have a theory about that, is that the wind or the draft will actually lift them in the air. They don't get to 2 foot and say, no, I'm not going any further.
Can it do it? No,
I can't. It's too high. I get
high.
vertigo.
Too high.
The wind lifts them and gets them into structures. But thinking about it, I've actually got veggie mesh on my carrot boxes anyway.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's what's protecting my carrots all season long. So,
Well,
One of the things-
no, go on then.
One of the things I would warn about Enviromesh or veggie mesh as bug protection is that if you don't do it early, like before the bugs have got there, and you cover it in there, it becomes bug haven because there's no predators, there's nothing. They just have the time of their life inside your veggie mesh. So you've got to get them early if you are going to cover them up, because the whitefly, holy moly, that's grim.
Well, that's Jess. We haven't seen each other for a while. Like I say, we've talked about the whitefly up here in the north's been horrific on mine. You know, but I've heard it's been all throughout England. We've had a bit of a kind of a run of it, to be honest. So I just put like goggles on and mask and just spraying everything like kind of.
First year in, I think probably the whole time I've been growing brassicas, that nothing's white. It's all pristine. There's not a white fly to be seen. I don't know what's happened.
And this was on my Cavarel Nero. That kind of doesn't really get hit by it, but by God, I was kicking it, and it was just like dust, like with these like white.
It's normally every year for me, but this year it's absolutely pristine. Don't even need to wash it.
Yeah. Jessie, we've got the Jessie fan club. One moment, Jess. I'll have to. So Bally's allotment, and I want to kind of ask this question as well. Let's just see if I can get that up there. Can Jessie run down how she sows early cucumbers again? Because we're all keen on this, Jess. I need the name of the variety and how you do it. There's been loads asking for this.
Well, I've got a demonstration here of what not to do, but. But basically, I was watching something that Steve was saying the other day about that he doesn't use grow lights. And this isn't really worth doing unless you have grow lights, because they just go like a snake because there's just not enough light around. Yeah. But I grow Socrates because it's quite a good, like, it's a fair size one. It's not like a lunchbox cucumber, right. But it's big enough one, but it doesn't have to get, like 2 foot long before you pick it. So Socrates always. Yeah, and I just start them off now. And then the moment that they break the soil surface, I just stick some lights on them. They don't need a huge amount of light. It's not like they need to be blasted, but it does. But unfortunately, I went away on Friday evening. I sowed them on Thursday morning.
Oh, you've already attempted to sow yours already?
Right. Oh, well, last year when they were really successful, I sowed them on the 1st January. Right. This year I sowed them on, I think, whatever date Thursday was, Thursday morning.
Right.
I put them in the heated propagator. Friday evening at about 5:30, I checked them. Nothing had happened. And then I went out. And then I came home on Sunday morning at about, 7 o'clock in the morning. And they looked like this.
Wow, man.
Oops.
That's like, yeah. So I've re-sowed them, but these were the ones that I sowed. They're in this week's video that is coming out tomorrow. But yeah, this is what happened to those ones that were sown in that video. So what's that? Just a day and a half.
So Jess, could you in theory then bury that right up to its neck in a nice pot? Or are you going to sling that?
I'm not going to sling it. I can't because I'm incapable of doing that, the sensible route. I would just hang on to it until it dies a slow and painful death in another way. But it's basically, so I will pot that up into a tall pot. But the ones that I've sown today, I just really keep an eye on the surface of the compost. And the moment it starts breaking, because you know what those seeds are like, they're quite large and they will show that they're about to come up, and then you put the lights on them really quickly, because that wasn't even like just in daylight. It wasn't on a window ledge. Where I've got my setup is behind a curtain next to a radiator. So there's no light. It was in absolute pitch black, basically, which is why it did that so quick.
Man,
Yeah.
right,
Not
so
great.
it is. I've wrote this down. In Socrates, you're using the Socrates this year, and then you're going to, I guess, keep transplanting them, but then you're going to just leave them in your conservatory window. Is this right?
Yeah. So last year, one of the problems I did find with growing them, so is because you know how quickly, well, obviously, like you know how quickly they grow, all of that family. It was still too cold to put them out because our conservatory doesn't have a radiator in it or anything. It's basically like an unheated conservatory, but against the side of the kitchen. So it does get a bit of heat, but not a lot. And it was just too cold to have them out there for a really long time. So up until like mid-April, we had for like 4.5-5 foot cucumber plants in the sitting room. But we did eat like our first cucumbers were, I think it was like the 5th of April, we started picking them. And they went all the way through until end of October. So It was definitely worth doing. But it does take a bit of lights and a bit of space, if you see what I mean.
And did you do cucumbers at the allotment? I don't know why I'm holding a pen as if I feel like I'm a teacher. You know what I mean? Like, did you do them at the allotment as well? And obviously your allotment's that way.
Yeah. So then I sowed that the allotment.
Right. Yeah. Right. That way.
So I sowed again, like at, what would it have been, like end of April or something, when I would normally sow them. And I sowed a whole load of really incredibly exciting varieties, and they all cooked in the greenhouse. They just fried. They didn't even get to fruiting stage because it got too hot, too quick. Couldn't eat them. There's no, so our polytunnel is really humid and our greenhouse is really, really arid. Like it's just dry heat, and they just cooked. So luckily enough, those. So
your polytunnel was that way though, but your greenhouse was that way. Is that right? Jess, you wouldn't believe how many people is like keen to do this kind of, because no one grows cucumbers in January or sows them. Do you know what I mean? When you first mentioned it, it almost went silent. You know, like a lot of were like kind of, you know what I mean? You could kind of hear crickets. But I think everyone's gonna, and they're not Socrates ones, but I've got some off Ian growing local that kind of, so I've got some now. So I didn't think you'd done it already, mind you. Do you know what I mean? Kind of.
Well, I mean, I've redone it, so I've done it twice now, but the first time.
And what is it? The 9th of January, man. Wow. Right. Let's.
Can I ask the question?
You go. Sorry, Audrey. Yes.
All right, just a little follow-up question. Is there a reason, Jesse, that you don't start the seed under a light before it germinates?
No.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, it's because it's the first lot. Like I don't. The first lot, I just kind of wait for them to do something because it's all kind of like in the sitting room. And I mean, Mum loves the allotment, but she doesn't really love me filling the entire sitting room with grow lights and plants and everything. And poor Dad, choice.
What will happen, right?
So I tend to try and be a bit strategic about how I don't just lay out the lights, the seeds, the trays, everything on them at once. I tend to try and stagger it for my parents. So that's why. And I tend to start them off because you just think, they need a bit of heat, and I'll just let them go. And then I don't tend to keep them on the heat mats after they've germinated. I just get the germination stage out and then put them in the. So I've kind of like separated the two things out because the racking that I've got is right next to the radiator, so they stay hot anyway. So I don't have them in the same spot.
This is getting harder and harder, Jess. You're dropping in little kind of tips there, and I'm thinking, right. So there's no heat mat after the germinate, right? It's going to be a little.
This is all. If I leave them on the heat too long, or with the cover on too long, like everything just rots, and then it's nasty. So, yeah.
Well, I did start 2 cucumbers in your honor just a few days ago. So they have not yet germinated. Yes, I thought I'm going to do that this year. So I'm going to call them Jessie 1 and Jessie 2.
Right. But this is all part of what I've been saying for so long, for many many gardeners is working out in your house or with the equipment that you've got where your different heat zones are and where you can move plants onto as you pot them on. Everyone's situation will be quite unique, but you can find by experimentation, like Jessie's doing by sowing cucumbers in January. She's experimenting, and this is what gardening is all about. If you experiment, you'll find out something new, and you can move on and take your gardening a little bit further.
Oh, is it? That could be almost like your tip of the week there. You know what I mean?
It is. I've done now. That's it. I'm going home. Oh,
Well, you know what? With this frost, I did lose like a load. Well, all my potatoes. I think I had a handful of potatoes, and everyone has been so lovely with the kind of comments, the kind words coming back to us. Like, don't worry, Tony. You know what I mean? Pick yourself up. Next time it'll be fine. You know, everything's going to be all right. Because I lost the whole lot. So the one person who I wanted to have, who would actually tell us something and be kind to us and like cheer us up, sent us something in the post. You know what I mean? me master, who like me kind of the hero gardener, who's probably one of the best gardeners in the UK, sent us a packet of smart. No wise words of wisdom. No wise words, Stephen. Just a packet of smash.
Nothing needed to be said, really. I was just thinking of your whole family suffering. You know, you can't make a cottage pie at the weekend, and I was distraught.
To be honest, mind you, Steve, I remember years ago having that and loving it.
Yeah, we all do.
Aye, do you know what I mean? Kind of.
And the little metal Mickeys doing the adverts, the little aliens with the metal heads. We all remember them. But don't try and eat it; it's horrible.
No, well, I'll put. But Audrey, have you seen this over there in your?
I have never seen that.
Right, so it's just potato. It's like a potato powder. I'm not sure, made from real potatoes. I don't know how much.
So it's like dehydrated mashed potatoes.
Yes.
Yeah. You just add hot water.
Hot water.
Okay.
Jess, have you had these?
I have.
Yeah.
I won't again. Actually, I had it when I was years ago when I was at boarding school. We used to have that, and then I had fond memories of it. And about a couple of years ago, I found it in like a corner shop, and I was like, "Yes! Oh my god!" Tasted it. It did not taste the same as it did when I was like.
Well, that's. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be. I think it might. If that's the case, because I remember like through roasted.
Just keep it as a memory. Don't ruin it for yourself. If you loved it once, keep that, because you're not going to love it now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The bigger pack. Thank you, Stephen. Thought of me appetite there. I'll get them the big pack instead of the little pack there. You know?
Well, if you don't eat it, you can always put it in one of the local food bank bins in the supermarket.
Well, to be honest, I'm going to try that next time it's my kind of, because they're all down there having their tea. But when it's my turn, when the family comes round again, I'm going to do smash as the potato, and we'll just see. Dad, what's this?
Times are hard. The potatoes didn't come.
Well, Jesse, you've got another question here, there, Jess. So, Jedi Lurker is asking, Jesse, what tomato varieties are you growing this year? Now, this is a good one, Jess, because I know last year you kind of had a big bit of trouble with tomatoes, and I think we put it down to the kind of the water board kind of messing around.
Yeah, you identified you.
Yeah, putting some like chlorine in the which we do that to kind of get all the germs, clean of the pipe. But obviously, exactly at that time when Jessie was, sowing and growing her seeds there. What, Jess? Is there anything? Are you doing anything new with the tomatoes this year? Any new varieties on the horizon, or are you just kind of?
Last year I had so many new varieties to try. People sent me so many exciting varieties. I mean, in the Polytunnel, I've got a space for about, I think I worked it out, like 17, maybe 18 at a push tomato plants. That's like the back run, and then the peppers at the front. So. And I think last year I had like 32 varieties, that I was trying to grow. And this year I've been sent more, and luckily I've got seed left over from all the disasters last year. So I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to start them off and then try and like just push the problem back.
Yes. Worry about the space later. Do you know what I mean?
But they're really beautiful, beautiful varieties. It's just too exciting. I can't control myself.
Is the one, Jess, and we'll go around everyone as well, is the one that you're desperate to grow this year or want to kind of try this year?
Well, funnily enough, it's not a new variety. It's that I've had 2 years of not really getting any of them, and it's the Japanese Black Truffelli. It's my favourite tomato. It's just the best tomato. I love it. And last year, obviously, I didn't really get many tomatoes at all, so it wasn't that. And the year before, I snapped the plant off quite early on in the year of what I had. So I didn't get any. And it's just, I think it's just like built itself up in my imagination. I'm just desperate for just a huge sliced Japanese Black Truffelli. I just love them. They're beautiful tomatoes. They're gorgeous.
How do you say the last word?
Well, I could be
wrong. I'm right. I've got my pen. I'm going to kind of Japanese Black Truffelli.
Truffelli is truff and then ELE on the end.
Right.
So I could be.
Where would you get them? Are them like a specialist or Thompson Morgan or some?
The first lot of seeds I got from them was from the potato fair in Lambeth, which is done by Pennard's Seeds. That's where I first picked them up.
Right.
And they've got a really do you know, they look like a coin purse, like a medieval coin purse. They've got a really skinny top, and then they just like hang like they're just like weighty, and the flavour's incredible. It's really like they're not really sweet, but the flavour's incredible. Best tomato.
I'm just seeing if I can pull them up there. The Pennard Plants, is that the one there, Jess? Is it?
Yeah, fantastic
good company. There.
See, I've never heard of them. Never, because it's funny. Someone was just asking Helen, and I don't know if Pennards do it, but Helen was asking, do we know of any seed companies that sell small amounts of seeds? Sometimes I just want to try a few different varieties. Now, I kind of not that bothered. I'd rather just have more seeds, and keep them maybe for like a year or something like that. So I'm not sure. Is there anywhere we know of a company that does like small batches of seeds, or is it best just to get it?
I think, is it, I can't remember now. The Real Seeds, I think they do a cheaper seed packet for people who are struggling financially. But I don't know if that relates to smaller amounts of seeds. I was on their site just last week, and I'm sure I saw something about that. So that's Real Seeds.
Right.
That's a wonderful company. But generally, it seems to be better, I think, just to kind of club together with somebody else. If you've all got things and you all buy 3 packets of seed each of what you need and then just split them, seems to be.
That's what I do with mine. I mean, I get most of my seeds come from Premier Seeds, and you're buying every year. I'm buying 3 different cabbages, and each one's got 1,000 or 1,500 seeds in it. Mm-hmm. And I only want 3 cabbages, so I give them out around the allotments.
But that's where, Steve, you say you can just keep on sowing it and broadcast sowing microgreens as well. So
exactly, just it's Toy Town, isn't it? Really, you just play with them.
I'm just trying to. I can't see a search on Pennard Plants for them tomatoes. So
go
seed, flowers, sowed, pollen pouches, seed potatoes.
Well, this is riveting viewing.
Yeah.
What was that, Steve?
I'm saying this is riveting viewing, watching you browsing the internet.
Browse, yes. Hey,
you're back on track, man.
No, we're here, man. I'm just Japanese Black Truffelli and Socrates cucumbers there. Audrey, tomatoes girl, you must be having some exciting varieties this year.
I am, and I'm waiting for some to come in. I think I have 2 new ones that are quite favorite, and they're dwarf tomatoes. One is called Purple Rain, and one is Purple Heartthrob. And they are they're so good. So I use those a lot for sauce now. Some others this year, for sure, I'm growing black strawberry again, Brad's atomic grape, um,
I'll tell you which one
orange.
I'm not growing, Audrey. I'm not going to go down the Barry's Crazy Cherry. There was two. There was literally too many
Yeah,
on
I
the
wasn't a
plant.
fan of. I just wasn't. They tasted
No, I
watery
wasn't.
to me.
They're a little bit
I didn't
watery,
Yeah,
like
but
them.
not. I don't think. I think I liked them more than what you did, Audrey. But there was so many. Do you know what I mean? And it was more the
oh,
time of like pulling them off, and you know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, no, I think it's named appropriately,
Yeah,
calling it crazy.
I
Uh,
mean, they look fantastic. They really look brilliant, but I
oh, the
didn't rate them for
trusses
flavour
were,
at all.
yeah, it was
Didn't-
watery to me. So the orange accordion, I'm
yes.
going to be growing
Yeah.
again this year, and I'm waiting on those to send to you fellas. Um, black strawberry, I think I already said.
Well,
What else?
Audrey, I've kept my black strawberry. I've got a ton there, and I've got
Okay.
me Brads as well. Now I'm hoping because I've had them like in the hut for a while, and then I couldn't remember which one was which. So I'm kind of I took a good bloody guess. That's all I can say there. A good bloody guess.
It's
So
kind of 50-50.
it's a 50-50 chance, yeah. But
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of try some more, and I've ordered some as well from Growing Local. I just put because Ian's got his site up as well where you can get seeds, and to be honest, there's quite a few varieties I've actually getting from Ian. I've ordered kind of up there, so I think this tomato night. I think I've ordered maybe that one.
I've ordered that one as well off him,
I think
the tomato
there's
Najin.
a few.
And the one next to it, oh no, yeah, the rose crush next to it, I've ordered that one as well.
Is that Rose Crush? Is that a bit like the other? What do you call the one that we can
Crimson Crush.
Yes.
But that one is a more of a beefsteak one there, so it's a much bigger one.
All right.
So those two there next to each other, Nagina and
Right.
no, that's the cocktail crush. That one. You
Which
clicked
one
the
were you?
wrong one, man.
Which one were you looking? The Rose Crush. Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
it does
that's
look a
it.
nice one. I think I might have that one. I'm hoping. I can't remember what I ordered, to be honest, even there. So.
But it's a nice big beefsteak one.
So please
And
pop
then
over to Grown Local. I'm going to do a video up for Ian about it as well because it's and I've got I think I've ordered that Merlin cucumber as well. So there's umpteen places for seeds there. So it's now the time to kind of. I know, Audrey, you've done your kind of looking, but it's for me now is once I guess the late nights are coming. You know what I mean? You get excited to get
Well,
buying the seeds
don't
and.
assume just because I looked early and ordered early that I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
You're never done buying
You're
seeds.
never done, Audrey.
Right.
You're never
So
done.
particularly peppers or tomatoes because they last so long. I don't worry about if it's at the beginning of the year or the end of the year. So yeah, I'm not done. I'm trying to be done, but I make no promises.
Well, Jess, I was watching one of your videos again, and you kind of showed your garlic's all starting to kind of pop and come. Now I've had a bit of a sporadic time, and my garlic hasn't. It all seems to be hit and miss. Where yours is kind of nice, quite. They all seem to be kind of doing the right thing there. I'm in the stage where I've got like a bed of garlic, and it's sporadic. You know, there's some that are kind of 4 inches. There's some that haven't even come. Does anybody else have that kind of problem? Or you're having it as well,
Yeah, I'm like that. I've got some that's come up, and then I've got a whole block that's come up, and then a whole block that hasn't, and then a whole block. But I found this last year. Most of my garlic didn't show until January last year, so there's still plenty of time.
Right.
But all my garlic's up. That's all up.
Steve, all my elephant garlic's up. Do you know what I mean? I've got a full bed of elephant garlic. Do you know? But it's just that. When would you start thinking it's getting a little bit late? I better resource some more. Have we still got plenty of time to do that? Because I know Dan from Allotment Diaries, it's something like March he plants his, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the spring planting stuff and get them in then. But I would probably just plant something else in that space anyway. I wouldn't bother going and buying more and planting it. I've got some coming up, so that's enough for me.
Anybody else garlic? Audrey, how's your garlic? The garlic queen.
Buried deep beneath the earth. That's how it is.
Yes,
Yeah, I won't see that for a few months.
All right, so it'll not even pop up for a few months. I'm not worried on.
And I'm glad, because it would probably all freeze if it were up at this point. So,
right, let's have a look. Oh, this is a good one. Now I'll just pop this onto the. Steve actually showed us this there. So this is, well, to me, it's. I've never seen many more expensive than this. This is probably one of the most expensive bags of compost. Now this is in sale price though, but it registered normally it's like £36 for these 2 bags, and I'm like, oh, but I mean, granted they're selling them for like 23, so but 36, that's like £18 a bag, and this is, I mean, I don't know who you garden is. I'm not. That's an expensive, and we'll get to kind of Steve's, because Steve's been telling with this for ages that prices are going to go up, but that is a ridiculous price. But then I was looking, and again, I'm not sure who you garden is or anything like that, but I love the way it says, this is only for 40 litres. You know, these bags are twin packs, yes, and 2, but these are only 40 litres.
Yeah.
And that means it's like £18 a bag. But I love the way they've got the word professional compost, right? In handy size. But there's, I love the professional, but there's what? It doesn't have a label. It's that professional. It doesn't need to have a label or any kind of thing like that. And that's just like, wow, man, that is. Steve showed me that today on our little chat thing, and it was like nearly £37 for 2 little.
Unbelievable.
Isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It was just
unbelievable.
I think maybe JB is repackaging what he has. And,
yes.
like, you know.
Well, I'll show you. JB's been spending. I've got a photograph. That's JB.
Yeah.
Look at that, man, how money he's spending. And he does like to spend his money, JB, so he sent that photograph over as well. So, but Steve, have you ever seen a more expensive compost than that? Because I don't think I have.
Not to date. But I mean, I think it was definitely coming. I think for the people who are maybe not so mobile or perhaps elderly, can't get out, can't get to a garden centre or whatever, I think it's probably a godsend. A couple of bags to make the hanging baskets and troughs up for that year. It's probably very convenient, but come on, man, it's nearly 40 quid for 2 bags of compost.
Oh, I know. And I mean, there is on that site as well, there's 600 reviews, but it's not all for the, you know what I mean? It's all bulbs, flowers and plants, which I guess, you know what I mean? I'm not trying knocking your garden there. It's just whoever, and there's actually a video as well, and there's a guy saying how, like, you know, he's a professional, and I can't find the video, but he's a professional gardener, and this is what we use every day. And I'm thinking, at £40 a shot for 2, do you know what I mean? That's quite an expensive. Jess, what's the most you've paid for a bag of compost? Not that, I hope.
But funny enough, when you try and buy it in small amounts, that's when it's really expensive.
Uh-huh.
I used to work in a garden centre, just at like South Ken, and it was like if you tried to buy 20 litres of compost, it was like £9. It was ridiculous to buy that much. But if you wanted to buy 80 litres, it was like £7.99.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, it was really, because obviously the packaging is the bit that's more expensive than the actual compost generally. So
well, you would have thought that, Jess, but that's why it's like, but there's no packaging. It's just plain, you know.
They haven't put a lot of effort into that packaging.
No, they haven't.
We've lost
Audrey.
Audrey's gone there. Just whoosh. So let's just jump to another question then. Gardening from scratch. There's Audrey. There you go, Audrey.
Sorry, I was fiddling and I disconnected.
Gardening from scratch is asking. Let me just put up there. Need to prune my raspberries, kids, but can't bend down to do it. Any suggestions? Well, there's another old fella here who might have some tips for bending down. You know, when you get to a certain age, you struggle there.
There are, well, as you know, my partner's disabled. There are a lot of tools out there that can help you with mobility issues. If you can't find any online, then speak to one of the big disabled societies, and they'll be able to put you in touch with the people where you can get these tools. But you can get long handle secateurs and pruners and that sort of thing with extending handles. So if your reach is impaired, shall we say, then you can do that. The one thing that niggles me about that is when you go and buy something because your mobility is fading, is that you'll then pay 3 times the bloody price for it for the same thing, which is really annoying. Those people are already struggling, and now suddenly you've got to pay 3 or 4 times the price of what everybody else is paying. That gets on my nerves.
And as well, now's the time, isn't it, to kind of prune your raspberries. You kind of got get it sorted, kind of thing as well. So, have we got anything else? I know it's been talking about compost there. Stephen's got. I'll just play this. I'll put me on, then I'll play Stephen's little thing. 1 second. There.
So let's have a look at that. Excuse the shaky camera work. Oh, it's lovely and warm in here.
Oh, I get you all excited.
Mamma mia. It's quite fluffy. There is a lot of damp in there, but it's a sealed unit. I would expect that. I think a couple of days in a wheelbarrow. Oh, so warm. Would be lovely.
So, Stephen, the big question is: Are you happy with the results? Because I guess we've come to the end now of your little kind of experiment with the kind of the what's the name? Hot bin.
Yeah.
So, because we did open it up a little bit prematurely, and it was kind of, to me, I noticed it was a little bit disappointing, and I thought you found it was. You've had a few more weeks there now. It looks to me like kind of all gone. Are you happy with the final result?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I messed up myself. I put the hot bin onto what I thought was level ground. I used a really strong pallet and mounted it on that so that it was level. But of course, the weather affected that, and the pallet started to slump in the middle. So the composter slumped, caused a gap in the way it was put together, and let a lot of the heat out. And that's why it was disappointing when we came to empty it, because it hadn't properly done. It should have done, but it wasn't. And that was my fault. So I took it apart, emptied it out, refilled it with some grass, and then it started to heat up again just before the freeze we had last December. During the freeze, the temperature in the middle got all the way down to about 2 degrees. And I thought, that's it, it's done, finished, I'll use it as mulch. But since then, it's reinvigorated itself all on its own. It's just come all the way back up to temperature. And the last couple of days, I've been measuring 40 degrees, which is, absolutely brilliant. So it's re-energized itself.
Well, hopefully that will kind of. Are you happy with, because you've put it on your? Have you put that on your garden now as well, Steve? Or was that something? Because I had
not yet. I haven't.
Right. Well, because I got this.
I want to.
Where's this one come from then? Well, is this from your homemade one?
Yeah, that's it. That's the homemade one.
Right.
It's a bit chunkier than I would like. But I think I've said on the video, I've put a video out today showing both of them. And when you're doing your normal composting, just throwing it in a bin and leaving it for a year, you can almost throw things in there whole, because they're going to get saturated, and they're going to get destroyed by all the bugs and beasties in there. But with hot composting, it's quick. It's 2 to 3 months. So the big bits don't help the process. So you cut everything up small. So I fed my home composter, the one I made myself, as if I was feeding a cold compost bay, where I should have cut it up a lot smaller. And that's why there's big lumps in there. Plus, it's not as efficient as the bought one.
I know you kind of talk about the compost, and what else apart from speed is the benefit of speed, like a fast compost? Because surely you have your compost, you use it for like either, in my case, through like from say October right through now, putting it on the beds, and then I'm kind of, I'll do it for my own seeds and that now.
Yeah.
But why would I need like a fast compost when I can just because I know my next year's compost will be ready when I come to it. What's this kind of thing for like having fast compost? Is it just like for new gardeners to get them excited to spend a bit more money?
No, not really. I mean, for starters, the heat in a hot compost heap will kill all your weed seeds off. So if I mean, most of that DIY one, the one I made myself, most of that is weeds in there with seeds on and nettles and things. So we'll see if it's worked.
I was going to, yes, that'll be nice. If we'll have to where is that? Is that in a polytunnel, Steve? Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
right,
polytunnel. So if there is weeds in there, they'll grow like stink in there.
Yeah,
they really will.
Jess, what about
the other thing about hot composting is you can literally put anything in there. I mean, I've not done it myself, but I've heard stories of putting dead animals into hot compost heaps, and it will take them down, destroy them as well.
Right. That was kind of a little bit similar to that company you sent us last week, where I don't know if you've seen it, Jess. We talked about it last week. Steve showed us this company in America where you can, once you've gone from this mortal coil, instead of getting cremated or buried, which is all kind of using up the atmosphere and that, you can go to this company that will put you in a tube along with a few, I'm guessing, organic chemicals, and 6 weeks later you arrive back at your house as a bag of compost for your family to plant. And there's quite a few companies in America are doing this. You know what I mean? So maybe we're one step closer with your animals, Steve, and they're putting them in the hot bin. Bloody hell. Well, what hell?
Wow. I mean, it's better than being pumped full of formaldehyde and looked at, isn't it?
No.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Well, Jess, what would you think of that, or was that something? Because it's a bizarre. I was saying on the kind of show, my kind of thing is I want to be in the world, blasted off into space in a rocket, and poof over because I'm a science fiction geek. There's companies that do that. You can send some of your ashes up to space or up into the higher echelons and get kind of spread about. Would you like that kind of idea of getting composted down and sent back to your relatives?
I'm not really fussed. When I'm dead. I won't know about it, so I'm not that interested. I mean, I'll get blasted into space anyway, my atoms, when the Earth gets destroyed,
Yeah.
billion years. Hopefully billion years. Yeah. The whole like post-death thing, whatever. Just stick me in the normal compost heap. I don't care. It's fine.
As a scarecrow, just kind of eventually.
There is one guy on our allotment site, and he'd been there for man and boy all his life, and he loved the place so much that after his funeral and after he was cremated, his ashes were spread on his plot.
Right.
Just down our allotment site. So he's still there,
That's something what you might do, lad. I'm telling you now, that's something I do, because you're never away from the bloody place. You know what I mean? So,
the thing I've got to worry about that is that a friend of mine, her mum died. God, it must have been about 15 years ago now, and she has a house down in Hastings, and she planted. So her mum was cremated, and then she planted a mulberry tree sapling. Opened up the ashes and then planted the sapling into it, and then about 10 years later she lost the house. And then obviously she lost the tree that her mum was, and then the tree got chopped down by the next people and everything. So I just think it's probably a bit.
And on that note, on that happy note, yay! Well, we have hit the top of the hour there, and I haven't even used up all my my questions there. But we'll get to the tips of the week, and I'll jump to Stephen first with his tip of the week. Stephen, please.
I haven't got one yet.
I knew that. That's why I went, because I was thinking he hasn't said anything about a tip of the week there. So has anybody? Audrey, you're a Good.
Yes, I do have one.
Thank you very much. Professional always. Thank you, Audrey.
You're going to see a lot of people on YouTube and Instagram, whatever, planting a lot of seeds. I'm going to say this. Do not be sucked into, oh my gosh, I need to get mine in. I don't want to be late. Not everything needs to be sown this early. And many things do better if they're not. So be wise so that you don't end up with a lot of seriously overgrown items that you can't put out yet into your garden. So work back from your last frost date and figure out when things should be started. So little patience right now.
Yeah, but you've also sown your onion seeds that you've never sown so early in your life before.
I've sown my onions, I've sown cucumbers, my ginger is planted, and I've sown artichokes. So, but those are all really long. The onions are the only ones I'm a little concerned about.
You know what? Honestly, Audrey, that's such wise words. But I'm wrapped up in it now. I'm lost in it. I'm so excited.
I know. I heard your last video, and I'm like, dude, slow down.
Oh, God, it's too late. It's too late. I mean, there's going to drop through the post the chili seeds. I know the JB's kind of gets chilies in there early as well, so I want to kind of. But it is. I get wrapped up in it so quick. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm thinking, oh, little tomato. But I've had tomatoes in a polytunnel when it's just been cold and they just go a bit limp. And I'm aiming middle of March, Audrey, for tomatoes. That's my middle of March.
Yeah, just a little patience. Yep.
Stephen, have you got a tip now by any chance, Bonnie lad?
Yeah, well, kind of springboarding off what Audrey said there, really, is to think of your light levels as well, because between now and the middle of January and the middle of March, I think it's about an extra hour and a half's daylight you get as the light increases day by day. So that's somewhere to plan for. I mean, I tend to work around that and try to have seeds that are coming through the ground then, because then I know they're going to get more light than they will now, if you see what I mean. So try and plan if you can to take advantage of the best available light and know your own equipment. For one particular windowsill might reach 18 degrees and another might reach 20. If you know where you can plan and move plants around to, you'll be able to look after your plants better when they come through.
It is a total juggling. I'm finding that doing it in the house, in the hut when I had the kind of that set up. It was quite simple. Lights came on. It, you know what I mean? Like the germinate lights came on, all nice. But in the house, well, I mean, I think I've got there. This is me onion one. So these are my onions that we did on Boxing Day. Yeah. That's took up all my space. Now I know tomorrow I'm going to probably take them up to the Polytunnel and get them kind of tucked in there, but it's just all of a sudden that space is empty and now I'm running out of space and it's kind of causing a little bit of friction in the house. Get the shit away off here and all that kind of stuff.
See, it's like Jessie's got herself sorted out. She's got a little place where she's got to grow lamps and right next to a radiator. So that's a given heat spot and a good place for growing. And it's a little bit out of the way of the rest of the family as well. So it's finding out all these things with the equipment, the greenhouses, the polytunnels, even your cold frame or in the house on windowsills, But if you know these areas and what they're capable of producing, then you can maximize that for your own effect.
There you go. Spur of the moment tip of the week, which is a very well done there, Stephen. That's perfect.
I've never actually come to the show with a tip ready. I normally think of it during the show.
Jess, the final tip of the week.
Well, unfortunately for me, I did come with a tip of the week, but Steve thought of it just at the last minute. My tip was basically just watch out. Like at this time of the year, the seeds are going to keep trying to grow, and if you're planning to do with lights and heat and everything, they need you to actually pay attention to them because it can go wrong very quickly. was my tip.
Are you just though as well, like, because honestly I've hold my hand up, I get wrapped up and I'll want to sow as quick as possible. Do you get like that, or have you got the patience to step back and say, right, we'll wait till like March to sow the tomato seeds?
Well, last year, I was really determined to not just sow everything really, really quickly, and it was a disaster. Most years, I'm really like, go, 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 right now, quick, 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 we can get it. This is the first date possible on the seed packet or whatever, and I get really overexcited about it. And normally I'm quite successful. Last year, I decided to hold off. Who was it? Somebody I was talking to had said to me that they don't sow their beans until after their birthday, which was the 21st of April. Can't remember who it was whose birthday was that day, but they'd said that to me, and I was like, okay, that's fine, right? I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna do it. And then I didn't get any beans.
Uh-huh.
I decided I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to sow it all as soon as I can.
I see. There's a girl after me own heart. Just get them sown. Worry about it as it comes and happens. Yeah.
I think sometimes, as long as you leave yourself enough time to sow again, if you need to, it's all right.
Well, what I've noticed, mind you, Audrey, as well, with those Brad's Atomic seem to be like, take the time. Now, I sowed them Brad's Atomic probably, I think, the 24th of March, and I would have liked them ripened a bit quicker. Do you know what I mean? I still got them all done and dusted in the right time, but I seem to have to wait a little bit longer for them coming. And I thought, I wonder if that was me, because certainly wasn't the weather, kind of the sunshine for the ripening. We had lots of that.
No, they are notoriously a late ripening tomato.
Mm-hmm.
And they're difficult as well, because they look like they're ripe when they start.
Yeah.
Very difficult to judge.
Yeah, I'm gonna be putting rootstock on my Brad's Atomic grape this year to see if maybe those are better. Well, yeah, I'm putting it on all of my indeterminate tomatoes,
right?
Because I just want to see how they do. So,
wow,
advanced user level we're talking here, mind you.
I think I need a new gardening certificate. Then maybe.
Well, not too hasty. When we see that, it's not good just saying you're going to do it. I want to see the actual grafted tomatoes.
Because I think there could be great results from grafting those. So, yeah.
Right. Well, that is today's show. Big thank you. Thank you very much, Jess, Steve, Audrey. Thank you indeed. Jesse's been far too long. Hopefully, and there's still oodles of questions here there, so hopefully we can kind of get you on again. Do you know what I mean? We'll try and hit you up again and get you on, see how cucumbers are going, see how everything's going there. So it's lovely to have you back. Thank you very much. Audrey, it's always a pleasure. My gardening muse, as I like to call her. And Stephen, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the wise words. Does that give up potatoes? Is that?
No, lashings of butter, loads of herbs, bit of garlic, olive oil on the top. You're sorted.
Sorted. Well, listen, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good day.